All right. I want to try and get this thought out. I got a meeting here in 10 minutes. The way that we're using haikus to compress for long-term memory with MetaMind is freaking bonkers. I think the second that people understand the implications of this, that it works, is still blowing my mind. You'll have a really deep understanding of how GPT-3 and GPT-4 are working, and how we can leverage those technologies to do just unspeakably huge things. So, the MetaMind AIs, of course, we've got a few more. We've got that I am AI and the Boyd God AI. There's like a bunch of discourse that have this in them now, and more all the time. They have what GPT can't do, which is, a really, really good medium term, basically short term memory, right? It remembers a lot more, and can sort of maintain context. It can carry on a conversation longer because of the way that we have it set up in our message threads in Discord. And since we added in, we've got a couple other long-term memory strategies, but since we added in the haiku memory, it'll basically, every time we feel like it, we can run a command and it'll run a haiku memory. It'll write a haiku. It'll compress a lot of the meaning that is in its context into 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables, into a haiku, into a poem. And we just wanted to experiment. We thought it might be really interesting to see what would happen if we did this. And, then, you could actually ask it to ping long-term memory, the haiku memory, and talk about, what we talked about yesterday, or some of the things that have been going on, a lot longer than would sit in its short-term memory. And it works. It's bonkers. It's taking a whole bunch of data. It's compressing it into basically, what is a haiku anyway, right? It's sort of constraint so that you want to pack as much meaning as you possibly can into these 3 lines. And it's astounding that it works. We're using a large language model that is good at manipulating language to gather a bunch of meaning, pour it into a tiny little space, and using that to basically create long-term memory bubbles that fit into a long-term memory file that our AI can talk to in the Discord. And it has an amazing enhanced ability for long-term memory, but also like a weird kind of intuition because of the way that it compressed the meaning. When people get this, it's poetry. Pun intended. I know it's terrible. Greg, that one's for you. Holy shit.